I want to move through this slide because it has a white background and that taxes the projector. So
you'll die and you have to clean it again.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Really briefly, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what it means to be a professional developer and how we think about the craft a little bit. There's a lot to say on the topic, and I'm not going to go into a long talk. I just wanted to share a few things and talk a little bit about how to maximize your value and perhaps maybe that will help you in your career. And it's not just something that I want to deliver as a talk, but it's something that I want to solicit your ideas on, because I think we all as professionals can share some of the techniques, approaches, and things that we're doing to improve our own performance and what we do. So with that, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what are professional developers. I think that others have described it as a craft that we practice. I went on a little personal rant the other day about ninjas and rock stars, which are two terms that people often use to describe talented developers. But professionals are not hobbyists, and there may be a few hobbyists here. This is not intended in any way to slight the hobbyist developer. All of us, some of us, started as hobbyists, and so on. But there are a couple ways in which I think the ninja term might apply, but I find its use is a little overused, particularly in job advertisements. But sometimes I think we act like ninjas when we have maybe strange code that we have to go into. You have a mission, you want to get it done, you need to go in like you've been assigned to assassinate. That's the ninja concept. You have to go in, stay focused on your mission, and get out without getting distracted by the scenery, by the messy code over here, the problems here. All of that has nothing to do with what you're there to accomplish. Sometimes we're like a ninja. Rock stars, I had this analogy that we're like rock stars in the sense that if we don't learn to be professional musicians, after a time you either burn out or you're dead or whatever. But other than that, I can't see a lot to the rock star analogy. We work as a team. I mean, band, yes, musicians work as a band member. But you look at the older professional musicians who stay in the game for a long time, they learn to get their personal demons under control. They become pros. So that's kind of what I was thinking about there. We're all at different times in our careers, freelancers, contractors, employees, and entrepreneurs. Not everybody's all of those things, but some of us have gone through every phase. And I think that professionalism is expressed in your attitude, your approach, your habits, and values. But what I wanted to give was a little bit of start a little bit of a practical discussion of how to maximize your value. And I think that means we have to build a consciousness of the value that you're producing over time. With Ruby on Rails, the framework that most of us use, and Ruby in particular is a power tool. It's a language that allows us to get more done faster. And because of that, it's more satisfying to us. We have fun doing it. But there's more to doing or getting a lot done or producing value than just using a powerful tool. The tools and the technology is part of it, but I think of maximizing the value as maximizing the value that we produce over unit time. So there's a speed component to it, there's an efficiency component. I want to emphasize that value also is the perceived value. So while there are many things that we might do that we think are valuable, if the parties who are maybe sponsoring our work, to put it in the most broad sense, don't see it as valuable, there may be a perception gap, and there are things you can do to address that. But it may also be that it actually isn't valuable, and you may just have misvalued it. It's your perception of the value of your task, but maybe it's not really that important. So, some tips for maximizing the perceived value of your work. Always try to understand as much as you can about the business or the enterprise or whatever it is that this code that you're working on is serving. You want to understand the users that are using it. If you can empathize with those users, that's a sense that you want to cultivate. Programmers don't talk a lot about empathy. It's a very soft thing, but you kind of need to feel your users' pain. You know, when when you're forcing them in through some stupid workflow, you need to think about, to the degree that you can feel that, you are going to improve the value that you're producing. When you're talking to other people, especially not programmers, about your work, obviously you want to avoid too much technical language. And when you're talking about features, you want to justify them in their business context as much as possible. That means understanding who the feature is being used by, why they're using it, and why that's good for the enterprise or system or whatever. You want to avoid low-value activity. A lot of the stuff that we do with the open source software that we've created as a community has to do with removing the grunt work from what we do. And you always need to be conscious of oh, am I doing something that is just robot repetitive here, or this isn't really, I'm not adding a lot of value. Maybe there's a problem. Maybe there's a need for a plugin or more abstraction or something else. Maybe you need to write a script to do something that you're, doing manually. But you want to avoid the low-value activity. That said, it's not always worth it to write a script. Sometimes copying and pasting 20 times is faster. There's a concept of technical debt. Everyone here, has everyone heard of the technical debt issue? Yes.
We're deep into that shit.
Yes. Well, it's a debate, how do you explain when it needs to be paid down? Because sometimes the answer is it's not the right time, and the more you can, obviously you want to slow down the buildup of that technical debt, and good developers do, slower, but all code comes with it. The question is, when do you have to do that refactor? And when you're going in to implement a feature, is now the right time? Maybe not. Maybe you just need to move on. And being okay with that sometimes, or enough of the time, is part of kind of learning the game. This is a really simple one, maximizing per unit time. These are all soft things, but simple things that we often forget. One of them is to get plenty of sleep. Simple. Manage your diet and activity to achieve a smooth mental energy and alertness throughout the day. If your productivity you find is coming in fits and starts and you're getting drowsy and other things, those are times when you might want to look at either your diet or your exercise, because these things affect your mental performance. Hours, getting stuck, avoiding getting stuck. I'm kind of interested in everyone's strategies for unsticking themselves. When you're with a pair, it's a little easier, but that doesn't mean pairs don't get stuck. I've been in pairs, we're going down the wrong path and we're stuck, and we're trying to solve some problem, and
Get another pair.
how do you get unstuck?
Take a nap.
Take a nap. Get up and walk away from the keyboard.
If somebody else look over your shoulder, what the hell are you doing?
Right.
They hear that too much.
What are you doing? Why are you doing that?
But you've been doing this how long?
Well, that's a great, yeah, it's a great, to the extent you can learn to ask yourself that question.
It's not even ask yourself.
Well,
I
yeah.
see my team members going, wait, you started at us in the morning.
Well, if you've done this enough, they maybe internalize a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, and so
Hoping for that.
every 10 minutes your mind kicks off like, why am I doing this again? Anyone have any other ideas about getting unstuck or tricks that you use? Set an alarm. Does anybody do Pomodoro?
I used to.
Used to.
Yeah.
Anyone not know what Pomodoro is? Pomodoro. Ding. Ding.
It's tomato in Italian.
Because
It's a timer, tomato timer.
it's a tomato-shaped timer.
And it's like
It's a method that gives you a rhythm through your workday. So you sit. It's supposed to keep you from doing like 3 hours straight in your chair.
Continuation of previous cycle.
What's that?
Every time you start a new Pomodoro cycle, right, you put in a comment,
Ah,
and
that's good
there
practice.
are Pomodoro apps available.
Yes.
Mac and Windows that allows you to take note of what you've been doing in your previous cycle or your next cycle.
But if it also helps if you're working with a pair, because if you're both really in it, then you might feel a little guilty about getting up to go away or to take a break when the other guy's like, you know. So then, and then a little later you're in it, and he or she feels guilty about getting up, and so you actually lock each other in for a longer period than you really want to. So Pomodoro forces you to get up every 25 minutes to take a 5-minute breather.
No, it doesn't like.
Well, it doesn't
move
force
you out
you.
of your chair.
No.
That'd be interesting to add on.
A little electro shock. Ah!
Oh, yes, it's break time. Okay.
Kailangan mag-break ng 5 minutes.
Of course, TDD, BDD, we don't need to, this isn't a talk on that, but I'm sure someone has a recycle talk coming up in the next couple meetings about that. Yeah, so stop periodically, ask, is this adding value? Why am I doing this? Remove distractions. I don't know about you, but I've seen people who are very, very productive and their workspace is clean. They, you know, when they're in code, the code is there. They probably don't check their email at all. If you want to talk to them, you have to go to their desk. So you avoid, you know, distractions, and by that I mean interruptions. You know, anything that's dancing on your display.
Yes, best idea for that. You now have to use one of them nice email pop-up notifier thingies.
Yes.
You got an email. Ooh,
Yeah.
what is it? What is it?
Right. Detour. You lost 15 minutes, an hour. And then the last thing I wanted to just talk about is leveling up. That you should look for a variety of complex applications. You want to get your hands around different code bases. And if you're in a big code base, different areas of the code base. There's different. You'll learn things from every system that you come in contact with in your career. So look at each new thing that you get a chance to work on as an opportunity and to savor the challenge that it brings. You know, obviously, if you have any opportunity to pair with someone more experienced, that's something you want to jump on. attempt to build something on your own. If you've been working with within a team and within a company on their projects for a long time, sooner or later, encourage that little inspiration to do something of your own that's 100% yours. You'll derive a lot of satisfaction from that and learn a lot too. And of course, learn more about business and contribute to open source. Those are I'm open to any other ideas just for how you level up.
Because we want to use all your cool plugins and gems that you made.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So we can do less work.
Well, that's pretty much it for my little spiel.